very much looking forward to that. So here is Siaara Freeman.
Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, everybody who came and are going to read at the open mic. We had a lovely conversation, and I feel like we got to know each other. And thank you for everybody who is watching this on YouTube. I am going to do a few poems from my upcoming book, and then I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic. I want to start my set off with joy. I want to start off my set with something that makes me smile. It's an OD, but it is still really good and true to me. And I don't mind old things. I'm very nostalgic. In fact, this poem is a poem that I meant to write when I was much younger, but it became written when it was supposed to be written. But this poem is called A Response. Urban Girl finally responds to the Yo Mama jokes. Because I got teased a lot as a kid, and I just wasn't that great with comebacks. I would just wait and wait and wait. And then when I did get a good idea, it was way too late to say anything. Everybody else had moved on. And so I wrote this poem in response to that. So, y'all want to talk about mamas? Okay, then. My mama. My mama, so strong, a hurricane named his kids after hers. My mama, so much pressure. She made 3 diamonds in 39 years. My mama, so smooth. She talk like her skin. My mama, so smart. Y'all, she became my mama, my mama. So black. America don't know whether to kill her or clone her. My mama. So hood, if you GPS survival, you end up in her arms, my mama. So magic, unicorns chose not to exist when they heard she was coming, my mama. So old, baby, she could teach you something, my mama. So bougie, she taught me not to talk about other folks' mamas, my mama. So black, if you sit her next to God, you can barely tell the difference, my mama. So holy, duh, my daddy is a ghost, my mama. So Midwest, she said, bless your heart. It meant fuck you, my mama. So down south, she said, bless your heart. It meant fuck you. My mama, so many summers in Brooklyn with her Aunt Cat, she said fuck you and meant fuck you. My mama will whip your ass so fast you forget what you done did. My mama will gather you in her arms so fast you forget what you done did. My mama. So fly, she got birds embarrassed. My mama. So pretty, she make flowers shy. My mama. So loud, the devil. Shh. My mama. So fat. Boy, your pockets is jealous, my mama. So soft, boo, your edges is jealous, my mama. So fresh, my guy, your breath is jealous, my mama. So black, she gave her 3 daughters everything she got, my mama. So poor, she gave her 3 daughters everything she got, my mama. So hood, she gave her 3 daughters everything she got, my mama. So nosy. She nosy, y'all. But she kept me alive. Thank you. So that is a poem from the book that brings me joy and is in dedication to my mother. So much of this book is in dedication and conversation about my father and the way I lost him. He was murdered when I was 16. And so that is a lot of framework in this novel, this manuscript. I say novel when I'm joking to myself because it's really long. It's way longer than what a manuscript is supposed to be. And it's way longer than what I actually intended it to be, but it just grew and grew. And it's based in fairy tale structure. I love mythology and folklore and fairy tale. So much of that is world building and myth making. And Urbanshi actually is a combination of the words urban and banshee. It was picked by one of my very, very dear friends, Giselle. So I'm going to start with the title poem. Most people have asked me, what is Urbanshi? Or, who is Urbanshi? I have a couple of poems referencing that. I'm just trying to pull up the manuscripts. Here we are. Hold on a second. We can get this popping. Thank you for being so patient. Banshee. Age. The kind of old that keeps getting younger and younger. Sex. Only when she really feels like it. Height. Taller than a grudge, but shorter than regret. Weight of the entire goddamn world. Skin color. If you have to ask, you have never lived in it. Eye color. Black, 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 black. Being bothered, but blazed and highly favored. She crossed her legs outside her body, and then she floated. Unlike a ghost, and more like, I don't give a fuck. She prayed over her loneliness until alone grew bright with sting and changed the definition to devotion. So she painted her fingernails that color and tried to scratch her eyes out. I don't know if you are waiting to hear of her death, but I won't bring the news. Instead, I'll show you a map of a shipwreck. She is the escape plan. I have agreed to lead you into the bleached woods. All that you find to skin and eat is her honor. I hope you starve. Leave the bones. I can show you her birthmark. Look up the titles of burned books. You can sleep in her bald spots, and all you ever have to do is pay her some attention. Dandelions sprout where you hope her will be. If you pluck one, you have to pluck three. What is left of her hair, you can take and make into a baby blanket. You can ask about the dead ducks, but don't you be surprised when she starts to molt. If you kiss her, you may wake up in a new religion. If you are afraid, she will not beg for you not to be. You can turn her into a rumor or fill her bed with ice and memory, black as the day we were born, of the riddled man, of the crumbling nose, a woman soaked in guess all you want. Please say what you will, but remember, she may come back to bite you. The myth is God took a smoke break, and that's right when she decided to happen. She will say the only truth is that you can think whatever you like. Poem. And so because I did a poem about my mother, I want to do a poem about my dad. Worlds in which the word father is replaced by hood. Let me start by saying, yes, I grew up with my hood in my life. My hood loved me the moment I screamed an ambulance quiet. My hood showed up to all major events in my life, and also the ones so tiny I only turn to them when I need something else to forget. My hood thought my mama was ice water, and my hood often felt hellbound when my mama and my hood danced. My hood felt livable. My hood's a carnival of weed and wrong turns and won't change its stories, only its writers. My hood remains both dead and alive, depending on what kind of God you got. Folks be so quick to ask girls like me if our hoods loved us, if we had hoods to begin with even. I know they want me to say more about the drugs and shit my hood was involved with. This would make my hood easier to understand and dismiss. A hood with nuance. They don't think of nuance when they think of Black hoods, but audacity has never surprised me. My hood was murdered one April morning, or it might have been yesterday. Really, it could be soon. I visit my hood a lot, and I won't lie. Sometimes I cringe when I think of how often that disenchanted path has had me stepping over my own blood. That is that poem. I am. Ha. I wonder what happens to the little Black girl from Kill Bill Volume 2. What summons her to my mind? She deserves to be thought about, same as my oldest sister. She is such a pretty girl. She has one parent who was murdered violently, like mine. I suspect she has grown up to be a dark cave filled with churchless bells and every right to want to get even. I've heard too many people casually ponder what they would do if they were her, and I was. So for me, she is not impossible to consider. She is right there when I am brushing my teeth, brushing her teeth too hard and creating a garish pink print. She is raw skin with an itch you have to feel to believe. She plays too much. She plays too hard. She don't play well with others. She blames it all on a pet you never see. She laughs like glass underfoot, something spine cinching, and marks vengeance on the wall until it is my exact height. She attends all my classes, but my students don't notice her. Thank God. Her hand stays up like a defense mechanism. I watch her hand wave, impatient as a red flag, until I am less teaching artist and more hostage. I don't call on her. I don't have any of the answers she needs. When I eat, she eats. So I am sure she is surviving off fingernails and warm thoughts. Ah, ambrosia, when I take my medicine. She swallows for me. When she leaves, I am terrified. She will return content with a backpack full of butchered bones and a rationale. What if I can't rinse the cereal and sinew from her hair? So what if she is not my child? She still feels like my very own dark responsibility. I imagine her fingers resemble mine. If I'd picked up a gun, I think the man who killed my father. I think of the man who killed my father while she knits a treasureless map until all four of our eyes fall out. I dream of safety, and she is there like a school bus on time at the wrong moment every holiday. I believe she pisses in the bed the next morning. My brain feels yellow. I know she hides snacks for later. Sometimes my thoughts are real sticky. I know she has a plan. I just don't want to know it, honestly. I know we both expect more from one another instead of better, because we are both too afraid to expect better. We hold each other like strangers who know too much. I want to protect her, and the way you instinctually try to catch yourself before you fall. So I'm just scrolling down this manuscript, casually picking poems. That's the first chapter. That's poems from the first chapter. That's nowhere near the entire first chapter. Some poems. Then I'm going to come back and check my time. Paint blue. Red, white, and black make blue. Andrea Feezer. Graham says a haint sat on her bed when she was a girl. When I was a girl, I got to visit her childhood home where she learned how to be the third girl, a lesson she taught my mama, who taught me some things just got to be learned on a porch. I am the third girl of a third girl of a third girl of old blood in a new body. I am a Freeman. I am love and craft and country. I got some steady eyes in the back of my hope. Some spells just take centuries and so much blood to complete. I be a good book in bad hands. I am the sword and the stone it was pulled from. I am pinned to my own chest like a note from a teacher. Education is a woman who comes from porch people, ancient like darkness. Each strand of her hair is a new name for a god that you won't even try to pronounce correctly. Her heart is on backwards. I am to go back and stop her from crossing the water. I am haunting myself for generations. I am haunting myself into myself, into myself. The water is whatever you think it is. I am right after something borrowed, a gift that will not be returned easily. Indigo child. My sister Angie called me Indigo child when I was a child. I looked it up only once and it scared the prayers out of me, just like in third grade when the lady with a smile filling the whole classroom sent me home with a packet. I read it before sharing it with my mom or my grandma. I couldn't stop shivering. It said, "Your child is terribly gifted." It did not say with what. And I'm about to check in. And where are we at on time? Jeff, if you could give me a time check.
You've got about somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, but really you could just keep going for as long as you want to keep going for, and I'm not going to get mad about it.
I just wanted to do a time check because I can't see the screen and
It's about it's like 8:49 right now.
Okay, got you. You said about 10 to 15. Got you. All right, let's get back to these poems. See what I wanna go to. This is a poem that just recently got published in the Ohio State Journal. I like it. In attempts to bring you back, I found the last thing you ate and saved it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Even when the flies came, I simply introduced myself to the rot. We sat there for hours, reminiscing about being something sweet in this war left to spoil. We sang sugar on the flow, pretending we could not smell one another out of kindness. I begged it to become you. It begged me to finish it. We both eventually gave up. It went to the trash and I went to college like we discussed in our last conversation. Then I quit school like 7 times to see if that would make you mad enough to return. You didn't. Resentment swayed through. So I drowned her and demanded this be seen as sacrifice. Then I became a candle. Then I melted. Then I waited for you some more. Then I began thinking my plan was better than God's. Then I realized I had been begging God to be a God, and thus I had to beg God to forgive me for asking. I thought about having a child, naming it after you. Then I realized that child would never know its namesake and that it's not fair to want someone just because you want someone else. Instead, I named other things for you, Father. Seasons with the most holidays. The sky's face 7 seconds before or after it hails the sound. A heart hears when it is half returned. The first time I won a fight, anytime I lose anything, the smell a bullet leaves on a person, even when they are not the target. I drew a circle in the middle of the last block you walked. I summoned a banshee and I maintained eye contact. I needed to know why. I wasn't warned. I offered. I threatened. I bargained, and the banshee wasn't even surprised to see me there. I am the talk of the afterlife, after all. A joke, the myths tell. Silly human who imagines she has something the darkness has not seen before. That's that poem. So I'm scrolling. Wow. How Cleopatra must have felt in Rome. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Project Pat. It is said in a whisper that is only a whisper in concept. I can hear them, and they know it. Tilting their heads behind the goblets I gifted them, their smiles are small white children who have never been scolded or taught to say thank you or taught to dance. I can hear them, and they know it. The uncomfortable laugh after blood, the washing of hands, the comfortable laugh after blood, crocodiles flourishing as lily pads. They say, I let the night curl up my eyelids, make moons where there should be none. Who would not mistake me for the sky and pray? Pity the fool who sees goddess where there is nothing but whore. Pity the soul who sees queen where there is nothing but desert and girl and spice and panic and gold and lust and gold and gold and empty and empty and empty and panic and surrender running through her, long, wet, untapped. They talk about my parents like I am not in the room. They say I was raised by the dead in a harem, a brothel baby. All the riches I flaunt, and I am still half naked, half wit, they say. To hell from a land where they kill their own people. I am a most charming savage. A festering time capsule. They have pried open and open and open, but do not value, they say. I have my children for their government's assistance that I multiply like a wanting goat, that they will kill anything I produce and call royal before those bastards can inherit their futures. They say, do not save me. Pity the fool who tries to save me. I don't want to be saved. They say, dance. We want to see you dance. The whole world is talking about it. We want to watch up close as we can without tripping a curse on your tomb. They call me a library of alchemy shaped like a cast spell. They say, pity the fool who runs and hides in the dangerous, dangerous black. They swear they will never stop talking about me. Poem. Wow, let's skip through this chapter. That's poem plus poem. That's good. That's not what we're doing. We said I love you, but I think we were both trying to get the last word. You are a belt. Not sure if you're helping to keep me up or down. My heart sags like the delinquent's god. A crocodile saw me one night and decided to grow teeth. You winked, and I became an emergency room full of children with the exact same fever. You asked if I could take it when I couldn't. You told me you had a girlfriend that you loved. You asked, what was the point of leaving home for the wild if the wild also wants a picket fence? I rolled over and watched the last 6 months of our life dim to a gray. I would be lying if I said I did not try to take it. I would be lying if I said I did not wish myself a prison each time you entered me. Poem. And then I'm going to do this one. And one last one, I think I'm going to be done. In February 19, this is context, not the poem. In February 1971, a woman plummeted from the balcony of the Chelsea Hotel, crashing to earth 8 stories below. In a lot of ways, this was the perfect ending for a woman who had lived a consummate rock and roll lifestyle, says Rocks Off magazine. Siaara Freeman says, I wish I could have kissed Devon Wilson on the mouth, not to taste Jimi Hendrix or Miles Davis or Mick Jagger, but to swallow her tongue before she could. Blade liquor to blade liquor, I bet she tasted like hallucination. I think I see her in my lover's wet cave listening for rain. If I had been born earlier, Maybe if she had preferred poets to musicians, belladonna to foxglove, she would have chosen me. Perhaps it is so very clear. She wasn't the medicine, but she was the mortar, who you wanted to hold the balm. Death is the only fountain of youth, is the only fountain of youth. Coin fed, greedy and shrinking the closer you get to God. Divine with the afro heaven high, divine who knew banishment and wasn't bashful about it. A childhood characterized by violence and poverty, leather clad, cocaine cocktail conversation in the back of my throat. She makes my heart water. I don't understand how they could call her a groupie, and not what happens to the sweet and mysterious black space after the stars burn inside of it. It's divine, not quite divine, but kind of close. I know the feeling, and I still wonder what it tastes like on someone else. And I know it's irony because this is what she was doing her whole entire legend, so starved that when hope came, she knew nothing but to gulp it down. And in the end, no one knows if she jumped or if she was pushed, but she was certainly returned to the concrete. Replanted rose, her body a bloody bouquet, her audience forever ungrateful. And ha, said how Cleopatra must have felt in Rome. So this is how the Romans must have treated Cleopatra in Egypt. You insist the girl lacks home training, but is she not a home? Doesn't something live there? Why are you always here trying so hard to prove it does not? Barbaric, you said. You don't say. Do you know the etymology of the word? It's the Greek way to say blabber, to say, I don't know what you are saying because you are foreign and offensive to my ears. And so what if she never learned the proper dinner party etiquette? Why should she? She has always been the dinner and the party. Everyone has always assumed invitation. Bet she came dressed to kill. Bet you can't pronounce the name of your food. Obviously, you still finish it. Bet you say it's the cheapest thing on the menu. Bet it definitely tastes the best. You might describe it to a friend as a touch salty. Tell him it had its sweet moments, but bitterness lingered in the finish. You bragged about the wine, then left the bottle drained to jail, dead flowers. You stole whatever shiny shit you could get your heart on. You rinsed your hands in a dainty bowl carved from war, left the spoils, waited for a thank you, and then wiped them on anything you considered worthless. You considered it all worthless. You said you have a bill sent. You never paid. I doubt you ever intended to. You demanded entertainment, then called every single song obscene with lust in your jaw. You screamed debauchery, then insisted on more. You asked why all the art felt so angry. It dampened your mood considerably. You say something you must out of obligation. You have manners, and truly, you figure there is no way to be a bad guest in a broken home. Who even cares enough to notice a few missing items? Surely, if not you, then someone else would have. Why not smoke where there's already fire? Why not leave the ruins trash? What's another crime to a crime scene? Oh, and then I'm going to do a finished poem, a goodbye out of here poem. And I'm just looking for the one. And when it hits me, we will do it. And you have been a lovely audience. And I'm excited to hear as many poems as I can. Hmm. I met her banshee, and she gave me a name. Of course, I can't tell you my name. You will use it like it's yours. You might sell it for an enchanted hand full of knuckles and praise. You might use it against me. A march of grinning ghosts know how to spell my name, so it reads as a warning. A child outside of my corner store carries 2 razors in the soft beds of her jaw. She plants them in whatever tries to ruin her. This is a hint. Here is another. A starved dog on the boulevard is a monster. She has worked really hard to be. A stern grooming, firm betrayals, and trained by fear. What has being man's best friend done for anyone? Her claws, my name spelled backwards and forwards. My name means replenish blood. My name only dances naked in mirrors or cemeteries, and only when it can't tell the difference. My name is the backdrop for a haunted portrait. The portrait is of a princess, or a sacrifice, or a poison, or all 3 neatly tucked into one another. Thank you.
Woo, woo.
Let's go. Give it up for Siaara.
Yeah, everybody, unmute yourselves. Put it together for Siaara Freeman.
Yeah, that was fabulous.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Thank y'all
Fantastic work.
so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was blown away. This is, I think, like the 5th time I've seen you, and every time I'm totally blown away. So happy to have you come to the Garage Poets to read, just because I knew everybody would be blown away by your set.
And Siaara, I don't know if you saw it in the chat because you were busy being the feature, but I really loved your choice in one of those poems. I think it was towards the end, one of the last phrases. It was the poem about Devon, I think that you had mentioned.
Yeah.
And you had used the phrase her whole entire legend, and the listener would expect the phrase her whole entire life. And I really loved that choice you made.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you noting that. I appreciate that. That definitely was a very intentional choice. I wanted to really highlight that this was a legend in her writing. This was a real woman. You know, she slept with Mick Jagger. She slept with Jimi Hendrix. She slept with Miles Davis. And these are some of the greatest known musicians, males in history. And she had songs written about her by 2 of them. And no one knows her name or her story. And she's absolutely a legend.
I'll have to look that up. I'm a Mick Jagger fan for sure. So now I need to find out what song he wrote thinking about her.
Yes, please do. Please do. I want more people to look up Devon. That's why her poem made it into this book. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll put links to pre-order or Banshee from Button Poetry here in the chat. And if Siaara would drop in her like Cash App or Venmo or whatever Siaara has in the chat, then folks here can tip her. If we were in a physical space, I'd be able to pay her some money because you all would pay to get in, and I'd be able to use that to pay the artists for their hard work and effort and pouring their soul and art to us, which definitely is work and deserves some compensation. So I'd definitely like to be able to drop some money Siaara's way for that.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to go ahead and add my little links in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, and I put the link to a pre-order from Button Poetry there, or Banshee. I've already got my pre-order in. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream now.